Oh, Steph, I think I ended up with your 4-sided die.
Oh.
There's a die in my bag that does not belong with any of my sets. And I just looked over and it matches yours.
How could you?
Well, this is an interesting situation, but welcome to session, what is it, 12? Something like that, of Dreamers of Kiriak. We are joined by Stephanie and George.
Hello.
Hello.
Jordan is working at the moment. He may join us later. And we're in a bit of a new venue, as we are, in a venue, rather than all connecting over profane technology that may or may not work as it chooses to. Lovely. So, for the people who were forced to suffer the ignorance of nothingness last week, since we didn't record anything, could the two of you give an overview of what little happened last week? And I don't say that disparagingly, because it was entirely, my action that caused it to be nothing.
We spent a very long time preparing to leave for the other town to the north.
Yes, there were several horses involved, I believe.
We took horses, we found orphans, we put orphans in charge of the town, more or less.
The 4-year-old is in charge of the bakery.
The 4-year-old is in fact in charge.
There's a 9-year-old doctor, and we took one that is purportedly good at catching lizards.
Yes,
And
Plus
some
our
horses.
other 2 orphans.
Yes.
plus the standard two. Who are potentially still traumatized. We haven't really figured that out yet.
Then we bought a very cheap map that purported to show us a way through the mountains.
Did you
and
guys buy the
decided-
map?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Goris bought the map. But then we decided not to go through the mountains because Goris was going to be driving. And the prospect of Goris driving the wagon through the mountains,
Just a little terrifying.
more than a little.
And you had 2 days of travel, and you guys are represented by Horse on the big map that people watching can't see, because this is on a completely different monitor.
There we go.
You guys have a bit of a ways to go.
What can people see?
A black slide that says Dreamers of Kiriak.
Oh.
That one over there.
Yeah, you guys are trying to get up to there, and you are right there.
Now, then we observed a large person watching us from a hill.
Yes.
Goras decided that the proper course of action after the horses having pulled the wagon all day was to drive them even faster, psychically.
While simultaneously healing them? Is that how that worked?
I think you might have been healing them.
I think that's how we
Yeah.
made such good pace.
And well,
For
we
2
made it
days
up the
straight.
hill okay. And coming down the hill, we crashed and a horse died.
Wait, the
And-
horse died?
Only for a moment.
Well, it died momentarily.
Oh, okay.
It was dead
It
for a
got
little
better?
minute. Then we got attacked by a Goliath barbarian and a troll that Ashit tried to turn into a sheep.
Didn't happen.
Goras decided to take the heroic and noble act of turning Solaire and himself invisible and leaving the old lady and the orphans
Yep.
as the only potential
They had
targets.
Yep.
They had good cover inside the wagon, though. The walls kind of rose up around them. And then Ashik sat up and ruined everything. And I
And-
seem to remember Solaire becoming a human blender
Yes.
We did eventually manage to kill them.
after,
Solaire
3
kept-
crits in a
Well,
row?
Solaire cut off the thing's head at one
Yes.
point,
And
and then
put it
its
back on.
spine kind of
Snaked its
stretched
way
out and reattached to its head. And then somebody finally firebolted it, I think.
Yeah,
But I don't recall.
I think Goras probably did.
And then we killed the barbarian.
It went
I'm pretty
well.
sure that's where we left off.
Yes, you guys found a oily black, still beating heart that was all that remained after the troll corpse went up in ashes.
Told you I should get.
Did I
this
take
cool
that?
thing. Yes.
You better have. You don't want to be leaving it behind.
I assume.
Yeah, you guys fight a lot of things that just go up in ashes. Either because they're like made of fire to begin with, or because they're very weak to fire. The orphans do not seem to just turn to ash on their own. You seem to need a lot of fire for that.
Good to know.
Now you guys finish that second day. And you continue on.
I'm sure there's a way to see my inventory on here.
And the snow falls more heavily as you go north. You're moving toward a portion of the country that is colloquially referred to as the snow belts. It's hilly country. The road carries through a portion of land that it keeps frost heaving. It somehow keeps melting and then refreezing, even though it's all just constantly snowing all the time. And travel is a little bumpy. Travel is difficult for weeks at a time in this portion of the country, and you'll end up with people who just kind of set up camp by the side of the road and wait for the bumpiness to settle itself.
Did you want to burn some hit dice before we long rested? I don't remember how beat up you got. I know I did. I lost my temp HP.
I'm at about a third.
And let me advance a day, actually.
Taylor, could you slide me over one of the pencils there?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm afraid it will. Let's see.
Hit dice are important.
Restful.
Yeah, it's a lot easier when you just roll the die and write
Yes.
it on the paper.
That is one of the things that is definitely easier. I mean, most of the things where you're just
I'm
marking
sure
off
there's a way
one
to
little
use hit
resource.
dice on here.
What are you using?
D&D Beyond.
There, I think if you click on your hit dice, it opens a menu. Are you using the app that may or may not be in
Yeah.
beta? I don't know anything about the app then. Ashit communes with the ancient technological gods and may or may not come out
Goras
successfully.
does Goras things.
And I don't know what Boris is doing at the moment.
Well, I'm rolling really, really well.
Do we ever know what Goras is doing?
I don't even think Goras knows what Goras is doing. Well, hello, Mr. McLeod. Are you going to come say hello to the guests? Or are you just going to stare at them? Yeah, I think he's just going to stare at you. Around midday, as you travel, well, canonically this will happen, after the hit dice, which are still being rolled.
I'm good.
You come across a camp of gnomes that have been traveling in a little caravan beside the road. And you're an interesting group that's potentially even more interesting than these 12 gnomes. That's a lot of gnomes. But they flag you down and invite you to share their fire. They seem to be roasting a large carcass of indeterminate origin over their fire, and just kind of chopping off bits of meat and slathering it with some kind of a sauce that they're pouring from a little casket that they carry with them.
Sounds delicious.
Whatever the beast is, it smells delicious.
Well, how long has it been since we had something besides good berries?
Every day that you eat a good berry is a day that you crave actual food. It is true.
You want to have that mystery beast.
They look nice. I love Mystery Beast.
If this was any other campaign, I would trust this food.
Do they look trustworthy?
Can you give me insight, please?
Do any of my characters ever eat the food that he offers?
No, that's a
No, they don't.
no. When you were
had lots
with
of
the
vodka,
butler,
though.
you had his drink.
Yes, I didn't eat the food. I just drank the
That's
drink.
fair. Well, in the last campaign, the stuff that the witch offered you may or may not have been children, so I think that you made the right choice there.
Oh my god, these are alphabetical. Why would it be difficult?
Yeah, go. That's
Roll,
fair.
thank you. 6.
You got a 6. All right.
That's impossible. Does it not add the
Is it
12?
not?
Never mind. It's at the
12.
It tells you
Okay.
at the bottom.
bottom. It does. I'm still getting used to it.
Well, you have, strangely enough, zero idea what they're cooking. You being, as immensely in tune with not only nature but the animals which live in this land, you have no idea what this thing is.
Well, I mean, it's cooked, and they've cut a good chunk of it off.
Yes.
So
You would think that it would have fewer than 6 legs after they start chopping things up, but apparently not.
But then I remember that Taylor made this world, so I'm just thankful it doesn't have human hands.
It might have at one point. You
but
can't
but
tell.
they're not visible right now.
They're not
That's the
visible right
important
now.
thing.
But the gnomes seem friendly enough. They're singing a happy drinking song as they eat and,
Are they
drink.
also drinking?
They are also drinking, and they seem to just be drinking a very low quality vodka.
Do we have anything to offer them as part of the?
I mean, they might appreciate good berries. I don't know. What are your
You
what?
get good berries. I can produce like 3 tankards of
I assume I
ale.
just have a sack of mushrooms with me at all times.
Are your mushrooms the good berries?
Oh,
You
can
can
my
make
berries
the
be mushrooms?
you can make the good berries be whatever you feel like.
Yeah. Those
Okay.
tiny mushrooms,
The magic mushrooms.
not magic mushrooms.
those are the,
Well,
those are the
reserve-
better
I
berries.
reserve those for myself.
Technically, the good berries are magic mushrooms in this
Hmm.
case. So.
If you share your good mushrooms with them, they will make a stew, into which they will throw the toughest parts of the carcass as well as your mushrooms, and they will pass that along to everybody.
See, nice.
Nothing bad happens.
That's because Goraz hasn't gotten into the stew.
Is that the first time you've ever uttered the sentence "nothing bad happens"?
It very well might be.
Very good.
That's very likely.
It will probably be
They're
the
very
very
tasty.
last time you ever hear that sentence.
Goras exchanges long conversations with them about soup manufacture. He tells them about how you have the best soup pot of all and says that they really should be using your pot to make the soup. Do you have anything to add when this is brought up?
Do they seem interested in trying?
Not really, especially when he says it's made of a giant skull.
Oh. Well,
Maybe
no.
it's a good thing that they don't seem especially interested in that. I don't know.
No, I'll keep that to myself.
Okay.
I don't want them to find the magic properties of the
You're being
cooking with a
eyeballed.
skull. Hi.
He will try to eat your food.
You're okay.
Well, so does our cat. Our cat will sit there
Yep.
on the couch and stare at you until you attempt to share at least something.
He'll put his paw on your leg,
Hmm.
and then he'll engage the claws if you don't listen to him the first time. And when he does that, that's when he gets picked up and put outside the room.
Never seen a cat with such a serious face.
He does. He is studying things in his spare time. I'm fairly sure, but I think he needs spectacles. I need you to make me a wisdom saving throw, Asha.
Uh-oh. What have I done?
What haven't you done is more like it.
That's on a different string. 9.
Mine are all on one
Ooh,
string.
nothing happens that you're aware of.
Okay, that's good. I feel content and safe.
Don't know why.
How do you feel?
The gnomes seem a little bit offended that you won't share their meal, Soler. It's traditions of hospitality, etc. They're kind of obliged to offer you food, and you might say that somebody who is offered food is obliged to at least taste it, but they're not going to confront you about it.
Do the orphans eat the food?
The orphans will indeed eat the food.
They look okay?
They look fine.
See?
Boras eats a huge portion.
It
Yeah.
didn't hurt the orphans, and they're easy to kill. I've heard.
Okay, the orphans survived being spit out of a horse head.
Some
They're
of them
pretty
did.
tough. Wait, are there other orphans that got spit out of horse heads?
No, but there are orphans that didn't get spit out of horse heads. You have your lizard orphan.
Okay.
He was not spit out of a horse head.
Well, maybe he should be. Bill's character.
The orphans who were spit out of a horse head certainly have the looks of, like, you know, war veterans on their faces, so I guess you could say that.
Yeah, Raph took a lot of years to build that much character into orphans.
Yeah, they kind of got the accelerated course. They learned from masters, I guess. Will you continue traveling? It is only midday. The gnomes invite you to stay with them. You are certainly
Are they going
much
the same
better.
direction we are?
They are going the same direction as you, or at least they claim so. They were camped when you.
Or are they
came upon
leaving
them.
anytime soon?
They said they were going to wait for the heaves to die down, which the Rotos seem perfectly fine to you.
I mean, like they know something we don't.
How would I know?
Oh, I haven't been here through here before.
You are
Really?
certainly more well armed than them, and
Has he been through
Hey.
here before?
What direction did you come when you were asked for this reunion?
I think I came from the east.
Okay.
But you have traveled like your entire life, so I thought maybe you'd been through here before and knew
I
me.
don't know.
Alright.
I may have.
So you were in either in the mountains or in the next nation over when you were asked to come here. All right. So you probably would have been in this general area before because you would have kind of had to pass through this portion to get to anywhere else in the country
Okay.
that you were.
So would he have some insight into why they're not moving when it looks like it's passable?
No. Ordinarily, when the roads are as fine as this, people have no issue traveling on them.
So we have both horses, right?
You have both horses.
Okay. In spite of Goris's best efforts.
Well, do we wait and travel with them, or do we go ahead?
I don't see any reason to not go ahead.
Wow.
As long as the weather is good and the roads look good.
Okay, but if I die, I'm haunting you.
That's fair.
Okay. Wrath haunted me my entire life with one more person. He died and he was still haunting us. And died twice more, and he's probably still coming back at some point.
Probably. Okay, I guess we'll move on then.
You continue on. That night you are attacked by a horde of kobolds who you easily dispatch. They in fact run away very quickly after you begin to defend yourselves. The horses get a bit of a scare, but they're also becoming jaded. Another day passes. It is Sunday. And you are passing through the mountains on the treacherous trail that will is unfortunately the only way northward, given that you've taken this. Certainly, it's nowhere near as dangerous as if you had actually gone through the mountains. But this will take some trickery.
Can you imagine Goris making the horses charge through the mountains? We would have either ended
Just
up in a ravine,
straight
going
into a
off the side of a
ravine.
cliff.
Just impaled on the jagged rocks below within the first 24 hours.
Oh God, yes.
So it's going to take a lot of finagling to get your cart on the narrowest, slipperiest part of the trail. So I am going to need one of you to be helping manage the positioning of the cart itself, and one of you helping to manage the animals. Who would like to do what?
Where am I?
My animal handling is -1.
Mine's +6, so.
Yeah, you can handle the animals, and I will try to handle them.
Worst case scenario, a horse dies and you bring it back as a zombie. A mushroom zombie.
I could probably still pull the cart.
Probably.
Don't they only live for an hour though?
Probably, yeah. Might be long enough. Great. Can I get an athletics from you, George, and an animal handling from you, Stephanie?
Ooh, athletics is another fine thing that I do well.
14. I'd like to roll a double-digit number. at some
12.
point.
You apply your skills, and for the first portion of the journey, you are able to get your cart along the trail without any mishap.
Is anybody riding in the cart?
The orphans are riding in the cart.
We should probably have them walk in case it falls off of a cliff.
Which would you prefer to happen?
Huh?
Which would you guys prefer to happen? Have the orphans walk or sit in the cart? That may be important.
Is there like a drop on?
There is a drop like right there. Yep. You don't want to slip off and fall to your death.
We should probably have them out of the cart in case it falls.
That's fine. They're your orphans. I don't know what you're looking at me for.
Yeah, they can walk.
Them
If
falling
we're
off the
walking,
cliff
they
is
can
probably preferable
All right.
to being your orphans.
walk. Try this.
On a particularly black portion of ice, one of the rear wheels of the cart begins to slip, and the whole weight of the cart and the beasts begins to tip off of the road and toward the ravine.
Perfect.
The horses are in abject terror. What will you guys do?
Well, let's see. God only knows, because Goras, I'm sure, is driving the horses. What would Goras do?
Goras is currently trying to use all of his telekinetic might to just mentally haul the thing back up, and it's not doing a great job.
Can I mold earth underneath it in such a way to
Yes, you can.
stabilize it, push it back onto the? I do that.
You mold earth and simply make the mountain shrug the cart back into place.
Damn, I'm useful.
The horses are still in terror, and I'm going to ask George for you to give me animal handling.
10.
With all of your best efforts, you're able to safely bring the cart through the ravine, and the horses have only taken small amounts of psychic damage from the stress.
Probably less than just an average day of living with us. That's tasty.
It's Monday. It's a full moon tonight.
I didn't know Foundry had a calendar.
I added it as a module.
Not too special.
I could have made a custom fantasy calendar, but I was too lazy.
I have done that in the past, and it tends to just confuse the living crap out of the players.
Yeah.
Because while it makes sense to me,
Yeah.
they don't know my
And-
calendar. No.
Jordan's running an Eberron game where we use the standard Eberron calendar, and I just can't internalize the fantasy names of days. I'm just like, is it Friday? It's like, no. Yeah, but is it more or less Friday? Your day passes uneventfully, and then night comes. Now, what do either of you have proficiency in religion?
No.
All right, and I can't remember if Goras does. I wouldn't think he would.
It doesn't seem like a Goras-y thing.
No.
Do any of the orphans?
You know-
I didn't see a church in town. Any of the
Well,
There
yeah,
was-
but the
in
one
there.
was like a farmer's kid, so maybe they're Amish or something. I don't know.
There is definitely not a church in town because you're not supposed to worship anything. You are allowed, if you must decide you have to worship something, to venerate Saint Aglaia. But even that is kind of discouraged. As a monster hunter, though, Salir, you and also Goras would be aware that things come out on the night of the full moon, and they do like to attack people.
Isn't that where we picked Dashit up? Huh?
That's
Probably.
Would you like to make any arrangements, knowing that tonight might be an especially dangerous night?
I mean, what arrangements are there to be made for that?
I would think whatever watch we've been using would be.
Would be a slightly larger than average fire.
Okay. If you want a slightly larger than average fire, you can have it.
I mean, there's no conveniently placed cave or anything, is there?
You could search for one. Can you give me survival if you'd like to search for a convenient cave?
Hey, I rolled double digits. 16.
Nice. You find a convenient cave.
Ooh, convenient.
Well, it'll be convenient to something.
Does it have a clearly defined back?
It does.
Okay.
And it sort of. It kind of. It narrows to a height that's so low that you couldn't crawl through it, but it goes far deeper than that.
We'll wedge an orphan in there. Plug up the hole.
And it seems as though a bear has recently used this cave as its nest. It does not seem to be present at the moment, though. Would you nonetheless like to make your camp here?
Yes?
Sure.
Will the cart fit in the doorway?
The cart will fit. You can kind of use it as like a door, sort of.
See, we're totally safe. Nothing can happen.
No, nothing. Nothing ever bad happens in caves. Especially when they get a fistful of dice.
Well, so I didn't like.
Yeah. That night, around midnight, you hear a high-pitched howling coming from outside the cave, and a big, meaty hand pushes its way through over the top of the carriage and just kind of pulls it out of the way.
Oh.
And a colossal, skinless form crouches down and climbs its way into the cave. We'll just use this guy. It looks for all the world like a small giant, I suppose, except for the lack of skin. And it seems to have quite a lot of teeth just sticking out all over its head. And it's just making this repeatedly high-pitched screaming. And I would assume that you all would have made a special preparations for not being surprised in the middle of the night, so I will assume you wake easily. What would you like to do?
Clearly it's in pain because it's lost its skin.
That seems pretty reasonable.
I offered him stew. He just wants a place to sleep.
How do you offer him stew? He picks it up between his two little fingers, and he puts the entire bowl into his mouth and chews it up.
I know that's one way to do it.
I'll teach you to use the fine china.
He immediately screws up his face, and his screams are even more obviously ones of pain. And he reaches out to try to pick you up and eat you, Ashit. So I need initiatives from people.
19.
Same here.
Which one of you has higher dex?
Probably me.
I have 14.
Yeah, that would be me then.
What do you do if that's a high?
What's that?
What do you do if that's the same?
I don't know.
Boris goes first, and he
Oh god.
he does some equivalent of blasting it with psychic energy, and hitting it in the face and making it real angry. It roars in pain, and then it tries to reach for you, Stephanie, and little legs sprout from its hand and come to rest. Sorry. The legs come to rest on the ground. So that it's like the body is the hand, but it's got the arm stretching back to connect back to the thing's body. And
Just one hand?
just the one. It's like if I put my hand here and then two little legs in it, and then the hand tries to grab you.
We need to get him to the draw fee people. See if they can render these things.
I need you to make an opposed athletics roll versus your grapple. Give me a break.
Oh.
one's a loss for me.
Uh-huh.
16.
Nice.
That's when I needed to roll.
Well,
one.
you
Because
are-
That's a -1.
Well, you are enveloped in the hand, and it
Perfect.
begins to crush you. It crushes you this turn for 4 bludgeoning damage. And the thing just tries to squeeze more of its body inside. It is your turn, Stephanie. You can do very little while being crushed. You can try to get out of it. If you can, so you won't be able to cast spells with verbal or somatic components. You are too muffled, you are too stifled.
Well, that would be like all of them, wouldn't
Pretty much, yeah.
it?
Since you're not a Goras who can just kind of think his spells into existence.
Try to see if I can do the one that gives me all the temp HP.
And this is
Oh, there it is.
basically what's going on at the moment.
Okay. You watch it. Where do I see what symbiotic entity requires?
Goras is somewhere over here.
That's not a spell, honey. That's a class feature.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm going to use that. I
Alright.
need temp HP.
You get, what, 28 temp HP?
Yes.
Alright. Does it let you do anything else?
I.
Were you able to do that bonus action thing when it reached for you? If you would like to? Or not the bonus action, the reaction thing that deals it some
Oh,
damage.
yeah. The one that I always forget exists.
Yes.
Yes.
So yep, you passed. It was just at the very start of your list of things. Yep. That's right.
Yes. Well, I can do a whole 1d6 of necrotic damage.
Okay.
You can never tell. That might be the crucial moment.
It could be.
This thing might only have 3 hit points. It may just all be, terrifying.
But it's on a saving throw.
Alright, Constitution.
Yeah.
I rolled a d6 for some reason there.
You can do
I
that if
like
you want.
that. That's a good roll.
15.
Yeah, that passes.
Okay.
I do nothing useful.
It is your turn though, and you did the symbiotic entity thing,
Mm-hmm.
which means next turn, if you use the thing, then it will save versus 2d6. Is that correct?
1d6?
I think it scales up once you have symbiotic entity up.
Okay, yeah.
That was a bonus action, is that right? Or is that an action?
Action.
Yeah.
Okay, so you won't be able to try to break out. It is George's turn. What does Solier do? And where are you standing in relation to this? The cave is, ish.
Well,
This
I'm
is where
going to
Boris
have
is.
to go up and go slicey dicey
Okay.
because
That is what you
after all
do.
what he does.
I'm sure it's very fast to use this app once you know where everything is.
We're just continuing on with the nat 20.
Lovely. That will
If
nat
you
20
wanna
will
save the
hit.
day, go for it. I'm not doing it.
Let's see. So I need 2 8-sided dice.
And that your sneak attack will work with that since
That's
you have
13 plus 3 is 16.
Nice.
And then that gets rolled twice. 16, 20, 29, 31, 33, 36, 40 points of damage.
Nice. You cut the hand off,
That's the first attack.
freeing Stephanie.
And then the second attack is a 9.
That will not hit.
Alas.
Alright, it is Goras' turn and he cheers you on.
Oh, thanks.
Boom boom. He bless it. It's the giant's turn. It holds up the stump of its hand and screams at it.
Does it help?
And then it opens its mouth and its tongue rolls out.
Oh, God.
And
It's gonna eat us now.
let's see. One tiny sized soldier comes marching down its tongue.
Wow.
It looks like just a little humanoid without any skin also that is likewise screaming.
It's getting loud in here.
It is cumulatively getting louder. And for some reason I'm going backward in initiative again.
That's okay.
The tiny guy is going to come around and is going to try to strangle your ankle, Salir.
Strangle my ankle.
Just going to try to strangle your ankle.
I don't think my ankle's armored, so that might be an effective strategy.
Suddenly your foot can't breathe.
That is a 19 hit.
Yes.
It manages to worm its hands underneath your armor and just cause some severe bruising to your flesh. 5 points of bludgeoning.
It's pretty strong for a little guy.
George, it is your turn.
So I will have the 5 points of damage.
Yes.
Well, that thing doesn't seem to be too much of a danger at the moment, so I'm going to continue to attack the big thing.
All right.
That's 20 with the 6 added.
That'll
to
hit.
it. That's 7. Actually, no, I have to sneak attack at this point because there's a little guy crawling on my ankle.
I believe you can
Correct.
sneak attack even if you're flanked.
Oh, okay.
You still have your normal sneak attack rolls, which you have an Ashit
Okay.
attacking the same creature.
So that was 7, 13, 16, 20 points altogether for
Nice.
that attack. And the second attack is a 22
That'll hit.
for 3 points of damage.
All right. You're slicing and dicing, and really don't seem to be causing the thing much more pain than it was already experiencing. Stephanie, your turn. You are free, but you are prone.
I'm trying to
I'll
end this
stand
pain
up.
You stand up.
for a
Have-
skinless thing.
You feel bad for it? Tried to crush me to death. I'm trying to cast blindness on it.
All right. Does it make a con save?
Yes.
Well, it rolled a 2. I have to imagine it fails.
Yeah,
It goes
rolled a-
blind.
I'm gonna move it. It's in the mouth of the cave?
It is in the mouth of the cave. On its turn, did you want to make it do a con save or take 2d6 necrotic damage?
That's on its turn?
I believe that's on its turn when a creature enters your enters your aura or
Or
it starts its turn there.
Yes. That's 2d6.
Yes, so it's got to roll Constitution, and it rolled a 1.
9.
Nice.
And do I have enough movement to get to the back of the cave?
You will have enough movement to get to the back of the cave.
I do that.
It will thrash around and try to attack of opportunity you at disadvantage, is what that'll be represented by. And it will fail because it rolled 2 5s. And so you have 15 feet of movement. I guess you wouldn't be able to get to the back, but you could get 15 feet away.
Yeah, well, I don't know how deep it is. Ferdinand informs me, help, I'm at Walmart.
Do we need to take a break then?
Well, I mean,
It
it's
is
that
currently
time.
7:48.
Okay.
He gets out at 7:51.
Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting one of these punch out early people.
And he told me to tell you. No, he told me to make you pick him up. Is what he said.
I mean,
So
that was the plan, so.
So we'll see you.
We
when you
will-
get back.
yes, we.
Don't die.
I'll try not to kill the thing while you're gone.
So tell me about the progress of the other campaign that you're playing.
Let's see, what the hell did we do? Oh, so we were stuck. We had gone. We're trying to kill this thing that's been variably described as either a demon or something greater than an orc.
Which is a pretty big range of creatures.
Yes. Well, the kobold that we captured told us it was greater than an orc. One of the prisoners we captured said it was a demon.
Gotcha.
We don't know what the hell it actually is. We've just been hired by the town to clear this out, which we agreed to do solely because we need to replace NPCs that got biffed and
Yep.
the other place. So we cleared out this little digging area where they were mining these white stones with red streaks through them that we don't know what the hell they are.
It's not ominous at all.
Oh no, no. And I've been carrying one around in my
Lovely.
couch next to my hip. You know, I'll probably have cancer by the time we're done. So then we found one of the guys that's with us is half dwarven, we think. And he found this dwarven door in the back of this digging. Because we're trying to find these dwarven runes where this guy is supposedly set up. Go down in there, and it's a sepulcher to these 4 dwarf lords of old. And for once, my party didn't decide to go grave robbing. Thank God. That's how we lost 3 people last time.
Yep.
Was to grave robbing, because the sarcophagus unopened is their motto. So we go all the way through this, come to the door on the far side of this thing, open it up, and it leads to this little narrow passage that opens into this room. Now, the thief, for a change, is actually scouting ahead. Discovers there's an orc in there with some girl that he's misusing.
Yep.
Kills the orc, brings the girl back to us. She's the one that's telling us that this thing's a demon.
Gotcha.
Like, okay, great, I have no idea. We've been told before that it uses magic, but I don't know what that means to these people either. Because
Right.
magic's illegal in this world, so who the hell knows what they're interpreting.
Maybe he could just jump a little bit further than they would expect.
So we have this grand plan where we're going to go set up in this room, because there's another little passage that goes to a door that goes out to this main area, supposedly. And we're just going to pick off a few of them as they come in. Yep, right until our one fighter decides that he's going to go down to the door to listen to the door. And promptly opens the door to find an orc standing on the other side of the door, who he wallops with this maul.
Yep.
Doesn't kill it, but instead of finishing it off, grabbing it, yanking it through the door or something, shutting the door, nope. He walks away from it and leaves it out in the room by itself with all of its friends.
That's an interesting choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Did he just kind of forget what he was doing? Was he sleep fighting?
I don't understand Josh's tactics. It's almost always straight up the middle with him and my buddy Ryan. They're very much well, actually, always to the middle and then to whatever enemy's to the right. They never go left. It's always to the middle. Every single time. Well, needless to say, since he's still alive and there's suddenly people where there shouldn't be people, the alarm goes up. Now, the ranger slams the door shut. Now we're trying to figure out what the hell to do, because now we're stuck on the wrong side of this doorway because we didn't push forward into the room. And this fluid starts seeping underneath the door. So I'm in the middle of telling them to get the hell away from the door, which they're not doing because I don't know what the hell they were listening to, but not the DM. And of course the fluid promptly catches on fire, setting one of them on fire. The other one made his... Gren's playing this weird set of rules. He's imported the saving throws from 3rd edition, so we've got the willpower, the reflex, and such. They failed the reflex save. One of them did. They catch on fire. The other one does not. The door catches on fire. Okay, great. So now we're stuck, and so there's a whole lot of, now mind you, there's still people that, this room wasn't nearly as big as the thief thought it was.
Oh dear.
Because Grant is a master at being really bad at describing. He's excellent
I certainly can't
lore.
blame him.
He is terrible at world building.
Yep.
He has no idea where anything is in relationship to each other.
Oh dear.
How far it is. It's you basically have it's here, there, or way the fuck over there. Someplace. Well, needless to say, the door doesn't last for very long, and then there's a hail of arrows coming down the doorway. So now we're beating a retreat back down the little passage back into the dwarven area.
Yeah.
With them coming charging after us now at this point. So,
You're in a really bad spot when the orcs have better tactics than your party does.
so we have the one room. There's a double door here,
Yep.
and then there's the room here. Then there's a single opening here that goes into a hallway, and then it branches up and goes like this.
Gotcha.
So I tried to convince the numbnuts who wanted to fight. Now the door opens in towards us. I said, you can't hold that.
Right.
There's no way to hold the door that they're just going to push into you. This is where you want to stop and fight them.
Yep.
Nope. We're going to fight them at the angle back here.
Let them corner you, I guess.
I'm like, are you people retarded? You had a
Oh,
5
no.
foot wide space that you could easily control with 2 people, because this corner is 15 feet wide. You can put somebody there, and they can't go anyplace. Well, we retreat back to this weird little 15-foot angle where we can't control the damn thing.
That's unfortunate.
Because this way more people can be involved in the fighting.
Uh,
This is their thinking. I work with
There-
a bunch of tactical geniuses.
there will definitely be more people involved. They just won't
Yes,
be the people
there-
you want involved.
No. So I've retreated all the way back here where there's a staircase going up,
Yep.
you know, about 40 feet up there, and I've got the prisoner with me.
Yep.
And they're
Who's
all
probably thinking, what on earth?
she's screaming and being a pain in my ass,
Yeah.
and I'm really considering just backhanding her. And they're all fighting down here, and they're all getting in each other's way, and I can't cast any spells because they're all in my way.
Yep.
Then the thief, for some weird reason, decides that he's going to take a flask of this highly flammable liquid that
Yeah.
we've acquired, and he's going to throw it around the corner down here where the orcs and the goblins are all stacked up. And rolls a 1. Now, 1s in Gren's world are terrible things
Yeah.
because he's got a whole chart of tasty goodness for this, by which somehow it bounces off the head of one of the people in our party and bounces backwards and breaks on the ground and sprays all over 4 of our people.
Just gets better and better.
Oh, God, yes. Well, needless to say, they had to throw their torches away quickly.
Yep.
So now they're up front fighting in dim light, where they're not doing too terribly well, except for the half-dwarf who doesn't seem to be affected by
Yep.
this. And I've got a spell cast on me called Eyes of the Dead, which basically just gives me dark vision. But I still can't really do anything because they're all in a frickin' jumble,
Right.
because more people can fight this way.
So you're going to have a new party fairly soon.
Well, they're getting their ass handed to them by this never-ending wave of crap that keeps coming. And finally, this bluish-colored orc, who's been a thorn in our side for weeks now, shows up. And that's all my spellcaster had to hear was he was here, because he's now tried to kill this thing twice,
Yep.
and it's gotten away twice. So now I move up, and I'm basically standing right behind these people, looking for any opportunity to do
Yeah.
anything I can to this thing. And ever since I entered this dwarven area, and I know that's not how Roll20 works, but by God, it seems to. But either, you know, I mean, it's just pure luck of the dice. But
Yeah.
I can't roll for crap, because Gren makes me roll to cast the spell, and roll for the effectiveness of the spell.
Gotcha.
And I'm rolling, and if I roll a 1 or a 2, I lose the spell for the day. I can cast as often as I want.
Gotcha.
I don't have spell slots, but I gotta roll every single time
Yep.
I go to cast this. And I'm losing spells left, right, and center.
Oh dear.
And I don't have great spells to begin with, because he does not. I don't get to
Did
pick
you roll
what
for
I-
your spells?
No, what he gave. Early on, I found these 2 spell books, which I've been working from.
Yep.
But all he gives me is the title of the spell.
Gotcha.
He won't, for some reason, tell me what the spells do until after I've chosen the spell
Okay.
based purely on the title, and then I only get a cryptic blurb.
So your magic user wouldn't have been able to tell what the spell did until he memorized it?
Yeah, more or less.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Are
it
they
makes
like all
for
homebrew lore names, or
most of them? And I mean, most of them do. If I sit there and apply myself
Yeah.
to thinking about it, I can kind of figure out I mean, I've got one. I have absolutely no idea what it does. I've never bothered to prepare it because it doesn't seem to do anything that would be useful. So I've now lost. So I don't have great offensive, and the offensive spells I have do minimal.
Yep.
I mean, he took what was essentially Thunder Wave and nerfed it to where it does 1d4 of damage, and they get a save against getting pushed backwards.
Lovely.
Yeah, that's one of my
Thunder Fart.
first level spells. Yeah, that's basically what it's turned into. But
About
so
what damage are the dice doing? Is it like 5e sizes of dice, and are you adding much in the way of attribute damage bonuses to it?
1d4 is 1d4. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm not an offensive machine. I basically end up. I figured out how to take the little set of spells that I have and basically just battlefield control, because I can't. I will never be a blasting wizard. There's just nothing there that he's given me that's going to let me do this thing. But I'm losing spells about every other turn, and the ones I'm casting are completely ass ineffective on this stupid orc. Meanwhile, they're still standing up there mowing down this never-ending, parade of goblins and orcs. And we finally get to where it's just, and there's also some sort of little goblin magic user.
Oh, fun!
Flinging things around. But I can't see the goblin magic user because of the way that stupid angle is. It's standing down here, lobbing stuff in, and I can't see it to deal with it. And they can't get at it, and of course our ranged people can't do anything because there's a jumble ass of people in the way. So it's finally down to the blue orc and the little magic user dude. And I forget what the hell spell I lost that turn. But I lost the last of essentially my useful spells.
It's unfortunate.
Well, it was getting away, and we've had a couple of really special arrows that we're not sure exactly what they do.
Yep.
Because identifying things in Gran's world is another pain in the ass process where I basically have to interpret what the hell I think these things do based on what he tells me.
Yep.
Because no matter how well I roll with it, he doesn't give me a straight answer on a damn thing. So the thief finally kills the blue orc with one of these special arrows, which breaks in the process, much to his dismay. And then somebody threw a pair of daggers and killed the little goblin magic user. So now we're stuck. We slammed the door shut and spiked the door.
Yep.
And our problem is we have no cleric. We've just been carrying around like basically healing potions.
Yep.
And we're almost out of healing potions. And in order to bring somebody back from negative hit points, a healing potion will give them more hit points, but then fix the problem.
Yep.
And they will just continue to lose hit points again. So we had these basic, kind of like revivify type potions, but we're down to like 2 of these, or no, we were down to 1 of those. So our healing is like minimal, and then the question becomes, do we? I mean, we just killed another crap ton. By my count, over the course of 2 weeks, we've killed almost 150 orcs and kobolds.
That's a lot of orcs
over
and
a whole
kobolds.
series of encounters. But we're almost out of. We had like maybe 6 heals left, and this one, and I have no spells left. So the question became, do we heal up as much as we can and press on with me not being able to support them? I do have Unseen Servant, so I clarified with Gran that it can't attack things
Yep.
in his world, and pretty much every world, even though in 2nd edition it says nothing about that. And we kind of worked out a range for it. So I asked him, I said, well, can it carry things and drop them? He said, yes. I said, wonderful, then it can carry a Molotov cocktail across the ceiling and drop this thing. I said, it's not an attack, it's just...
Yep.
I said, and if that's an issue, I said, then I'll just cast it again. When I cast it the 2nd time, the first one disappears, the Molotov cocktail drops.
Lovely.
He's like, well, can it go up to the ceiling? I said, it doesn't say I'm restricted to where it can go.
Yeah.
It's a radius range you've given me here. Okay, fine. So we plan all this out now that we're going to do this based around my ability to drop these highly flammable things on whatever we encounter.
There are a lot of flammable liquids going on in this situation.
Yeah. Well, we have a few that are particularly flammable, and then we have regular lamp oil, which I'm figuring I'll just keep adding to fuel to the fire, so to speak. That didn't happen. So we get as healed up as we're going to get. We go out into the little room, and there's like this ogre thing trying to bring down the doorway
Yep.
that had been on fire before.
Your doorway.
So we had to push into
There's a
that.
cat in my spot.
Here is
The
smile. You're
cat's
on
been waiting for you
microphone.
to bring it food.
I don't know if we can have any of it.
And
Yeah.
so we end up having to fight past that thing, which thankfully rolled a 1 on its first attack and lost the hold of this great big. Don't give that to me.
Where's trash?
I'll take trash.
I don't have a trash disposal system
no.
over here.
Can I get you anything to drink, Aaron?
No.
Okay.
And then we get in a great big fight with this thing, which indeed does have magic and is casting magical spells at us. And the guys, instead of letting me Molotov cocktail this, insist on charging right up against it. So I sent the DM a messenger. What was the point of us spending like 40 minutes figuring out how we were going to deal with this?
Yep.
And now they've thrown this completely out the window. So I basically spent the rest of the combat just hanging out and watching.
Do you want olives?
I love olives.
And
No,
occasionally
thank you.
casting what he calls bonds of darkness, which may as well be an entangle.
Yep.
You know, and so I'm just, and that's it. That's all I've got at this point. Everything else is crap. I can't. I've got a dagger that I've never used. No, that's not true. I used it once in this campaign. But they managed to whack the living bejesus out of this thing. Oh no! What the hell did I try to cast? I tried to cast something, and I rolled another 1, and then
Means you
rolled
lose
on
that
his
one also.
rolled on his table, and plunged the entire area into darkness, so nobody could see a damn thing. Which actually worked out better because we ended up rolling better fighting in the dark than anything else did. You know.
That's
But yeah, so
mildly
we
hilarious.
ended up actually killing the stupid thing, but we didn't deserve to. We should have died a horrible death. We just accidentally rolled better.
congratulations.
Oh,
Your
yeah.
party's incompetence managed to not get you all murdered.
Oh, dude, tactically they suck. They are so stupid. It hurts to watch them in action. You think the people in your campaign do make strange choices there, Aaron.
But the lid sucks.
You've never seen
true.
the people in my campaign. They don't spend 3 hours trying to figure out how to open a door, but by God, they can't figure out how to move in combat.
Is the tiny soldier going to end up being 9?
The tiny soldier is not 9, no. So they were fighting. It was the full moon, so they knew something was probably up, so they made camp in a cave. And so
What could go wrong with that?
they were attacked by a giant skinless humanoid that was just screaming in pain. It reached for Stephanie. It put its hand down like this, and then 2 little legs sprouted from the hand, and then the hand engulfed Stephanie. And then Salir cut the hand off, and it let Stephanie go, and so Stephanie stood up and ran away. And
Like a hero.
so the thing opened its mouth, and its tongue rolled out. Its tongue rolled out into a set of stairs, and a little soldier, a little tiny skinless humanoid, marched down its tongue and began attacking Salir.
Is that tiny in relation to the giant or tiny in relation
It's
to
tiny
us?
in relation to the standard size of tininess.
Just trying to choke out my
I had a
ankle.
question. How do
Yes.
we know it's a soldier if it's skinless and
Um,
presumably also armorless?
You look at it and go, look at that little soldier go, bless his heart.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
I can argue with that.
So was that your turn, Stephanie? You ran 15 feet away after
Yes.
Okay. Are you doing anything else?
There's nothing else I can do.
Alright.
The big creature is blind, correct?
Yes, he's blind.
Yes, it was blind. And because I messed up the initiative that round, we go back up to the top with Tiny Guy, who is going to once more try to attack George. Since we're flanking at +1, he'll have +1. That will not hit. It is George's turn.
Oh, goody. Alright, so she's no longer there, so I no longer have sneak attack,
Sorry.
in theory.
I think it's if there are no creatures within 5 feet of the enemy,
horses
not
there?
within you.
But I've got something grabbing my ankle, so that's
Yeah,
within
that's fair.
5 feet, I would say.
Are the horses right there?
I don't know where the horses are.
The horses, Did you leave him outside or did you take him inside with you?
I don't know. She put the cart in the doorway. I don't know where the horse is.
Unless somebody knew to detach them from the cart and let them rest.
You guys
I don't think
definitely
anybody's
detached
gonna
them
think
from the
about
cart.
that.
No.
I don't know. We haven't shown prowess of
Well,
the horse.
I'm just going to
husbandry.
continue to whack away at the big guy there.
Okay.
No
Why
prowess
not?
of horse.
That's an 18,
That'll hit.
Kitty loves crinkly noises.
He does, though.
which is 11 points of damage.
Okay.
And the
I
second
can't
one,
choose plastic.
It does,
Crinkly
a lot.
plastic.
second one misses. I got a 8.
That will
Why
be.
isn't he giving you a crack?
He's saying
And
he
I'm
can't
going
have
to.
If you have a basic piece of ham, you can have that. You can't have any of the cured
I'm,
pieces.
I'm going to back a little ways away from this
salami.
thing
Okay.
in case
He
something
probably
else
likes
comes out of
cheese.
its mouth after me. so-
Alright, and I don't believe you're able to disengage because you used your bonus action to attack, correct?
If I attack him, he can't do.
That is correct. The little guy will try to attack you,
Can
I
he
just
have a bit
assumed
of
he was
cheese?
coming on my ankle with me.
though. He is, what's that?
Can he have a bit of
He cannot
cheese?
have cheese because he is a lactose intolerant cat, as most cats
oh,
are.
no, kitty.
Even though I guess the cheese doesn't have much lactose in it, but still.
The
Poor
internet said
kid.
cats can have a little salami. It's
As
a
a-
meme.
Yes, he's already had extra salty human food today. He doesn't need more. He's gonna get fed in a couple hours.
Poor kitty.
He has had so much food today.
Yeah, but what if more?
He is kind of going with you. He's doing kind of a
I'm
Scrabble as he
prepared.
holds
he,
on.
He can bite my ankles.
That's a 2. Wow, this die is really not doing well today.
You might need to change it.
He doesn't have any other dice.
No, I know he doesn't have any other dice.
Well,
Well, he's left. I'm in charge now.
You can give Kitty a couple of those.
would you like crinkles?
Well, hell, that's not what Aaron's eating, but you know, that
Cat
might
looked
be
at me
okay.
like, "Oh my god, did you see that?"
There's a bag with treats. No.
Eat out of the palm of my hand. No?
Just reach in there and get the 30-sided die.
Roll
roll,
not have.
Or
There
the,
we go.
Or the 100-sided die.
roll a die.
Well, he started off the combat rolling a 6-sided die for the first attack, so.
So where would you like to go, George?
Just back me up like 15 feet away from him. I don't know how big the
Hide
cave
in the back
is.
of the cave with me.
All right,
No, I'm just
Stephanie, it's your turn.
Oh dear,
trying to make the thing move.
I should have been thinking about that. Okay, I blinded him.
Yes.
Did I have any sort of advantage on him since he's blind?
You would have advantage on him since he's blind. I completely forgot that. I'm sorry. You can
That's
roll
okay.
again. I know how this game works. I swear.
Advantage gives
Yes.
Is that another
I
20?
can't see
Yeah.
Perfect.
That was on the first attack, so that wouldn't have
All right,
affected
and
me.
because you had advantage, you get your sneak attack anyway.
Oh, okay, so that would have been another 8 points of damage.
sneak attack gets doubled. Just
17.
His sneak attack does. He got 3 crits in a
yes.
row last. So you were
31.
there for it. 31.
Yeah.
Were you there for it? I can't remember.
I was, but
Okay.
I wasn't paying a lot of attention to dice rolls
And
because I
let's
wasn't
see, the
part of
second
it.
attack, instead of being an 8, ends up being a 25.
That'll have hit.
And that's another 8 points of damage.
Nice. Now, Stephanie, it's your turn. And you also have advantage on attacks against it.
That's the second crit I've already whacked this guy with.
I wish I had like any offensive spells.
Do you not? Don't you have
Why do you say
offensive
that?
spells?
What?
About every druid, every game. And
Because
we're-
the best offensive spell is turn into bear.
And I can't do that. I can turn into mushroom. Just not quite as intimidating. I mean,
You already turned into mushroom.
alright, I have Eldritch Blast, that's offensive.
Yes.
And it's not a spell slot.
could be cordyceps. That's
How do I
terrifying.
roll? There. 13?
13 will hit.
Nice.
What? Why don't you roll your real die that you have inches from your hand?
Guess we finally are at a table where we can roll real dice and we're still rolling them online.
I'm just more impressed by the fact that you brought a dice rolling tray, but you're still using your app. Like, I could understand just using the app. You say,
This is all the really complicated math for me. I'd have to add
Did
2
you
to
say-
it otherwise.
did you
And-
say 10? Okay.
My 20-sided die is so damn happy that it's finally getting used again.
Great.
It's gone 20 straight.
Mine doesn't seem to be very happy with it. So the giant is going to, yes?
Well, I have two Eldritch Blasts.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry.
21.
That'll hit.
Yay.
You can roll a 1 now after using real dice.
9.
Ninths.
Yes, I am.
The thing is bellowing in abject agony as Solir is opening so many holes on its body, and you are filling those holes with Eldritch Blasts. From those holes come worming out.
Serves it right.
Okay.
Didn't like my stew.
Oh, you missed while we were being
What did you say?
served random roast meat and random stew from a bunch of gnomes.
It was delicious.
Sure it was.
8 snakes worm out of the holes in its body.
Why though?
They also have no skin,
Why would they not?
and they are going to...
Are they screaming?
They are not screaming because
Thank
snakes
God.
don't have vocal cords.
Are they trying?
They are trying with all their might to scream.
They
Their
got their little mouths open.
their tongues are flicking out in just
What will they shed
extreme
now?
rapidity. Well, probably not much, but they're going to try to whip you with their bodies.
What holds their organs in?
What?
What holds their organs in?
No.
I have no idea.
Like, do they have
They're just kind
organs?
of
They're just
flopping
there?
all over the place.
The organs are?
Why
Yeah.
are they whipping instead of biting?
They don't seem to have any teeth.
Keep asking questions. These things will get weirder and weirder.
The big skinless thing has teeth all over its body.
I need you to make me a dexterity saving throw.
Oh gosh.
You've done this before, Aaron. You know what we're fighting. It's whatever, horrible nightmare.
We were talking about this on the way in. It's like someone used a
20.
random body part
20.
generator on a
20.
Mad Lib.
Yeah, okay, 4 bludgeoning damage you take.
Oh.
And the creature, more soldiers come marching down its tongue. That's another 1, so not soldiers, just, soldier.
This one floats.
That's how you know he's a soldier.
Do you need a knife?
Not anymore.
It's gonna be
A knife
its
if you
turn.
need one.
Goras is going to keep wildly swinging with his arbitrary. I'm not gonna bother with much except for just rolling some damage.
Gore ass?
Goras, that's his name, yes.
Okay.
Goras Petrov. Goras. Mr.
Alright.
Nine Dicks.
Yeah, but
Enjoy your
I mean-
party composition with oh shit over here. And Solir.
but I expect that from us.
Did I tell you how Ashik got her name? Taylor's like, your character needs a name. I'm like, oh shit.
I mean, that's how we named Duncan.
Your next character will be Dunker. And then Dunkard. The 22 tiny guys' turn. They're not 22, that's just their initiative score, collectively. They are going to... I need this. They're going to each try to attack you at +1.
Me?
Does a 13, yes, does a 13 hit? Oh shit.
Where do I find that?
I don't believe it
information?
does.
No, I'm sure it doesn't. I just.
No idea. I like
Does a
it.
20 hit?
Oh, there you are. Your armor class is 16.
Yes.
So a 20 hits.
Yes.
6 bludgeoning damage as it just strangles your veins with its little fingers. Its pitch rises, the pitch of its voice,
Did you
as
take
its
that off
fingers
your hit
tighten.
points or your temporary hit points?
Yeah, make sure to take them off the temps.
You had like 28 temporary hit points.
Yeah, where did those go?
I don't know.
I entered them in.
You know, I have this thing called a sheet.
Yeah, see, I'm using one over here
Get eraser holes.
with
in them.
actual dice. I don't have to try and figure out how to use an app.
George, it is your turn.
I gotta finish this dumbass off before anything else comes creeping out of his body.
I'm sure it all will come out when he's dead.
Probably. It may very well, but that's Goras's problem at that point. His job is cleanup. Is it still blind?
I believe so. I think it lasts a... Is it a concentration spell, Stephanie?
Fix.
Blindness, deafness?
Oh, yeah.
Oh boy. So you'll need to make 2 concentration rolls to see if it's still blind.
Constitution?
Constitution.
18.
Pass.
And
So much for it being blind.
A 5, it's no longer blind.
Okay.
Well, I
Its
tried.
eyes suddenly snap open with a sound like breaking glass. You need to watch more
8.
SpongeBob, Stephanie.
I've not watched any SpongeBob.
Yeah, it
Let's
shows.
see, I get an 8 and then I get a 17.
17 will hit.
Six.
Alright. Would you like to do anything else?
Now, is there anything near me this time, or do I get sneak attack on him for that?
Well, you're not standing within melee of
Well, I
him.
would have had to have moved up on him
Okay.
because there's no.
Then
other
you'll
way
get
for
that,
me.
yes.
I don't use things that take range normally. 15.
And how do you kill him?
That's a fine question. There are already so many holes in his body.
Add skin. He'd hate that.
No, I think I'll just slit the throat of the thing.
Okay. You slit the throat and cut in half the tiny creature within the throat that was controlling it.
And the poor little thing.
It falls down in a pool of blood and soldiers to the ground. 15 soldiers pour out of the various holes of its body, is already dead.
What about the snakes?
The snakes were already dead. They were in their death throes as they assaulted you. You pass the rest of your night peacefully.
Okay.
As peacefully as you can with your. That's what you get for giving the gnomes mushroom stew. Or wait a minute, you ate that. Who knows if this combat actually took place or not? This could be all some psychedelic dream of yours.
The next 3 days and 180 miles
So I
pass without issue.
so I can assume that we've healed up. And
You guys can be healed up and have all of your hit dice back. You arrive at the city that I need to remember the name of. Balavi City.
Ah,
The Great Gates. Now, have any of you been to Balavi City before? I have to imagine that,
I
you know...
certainly have not.
No, you've been to Vegas. That's, I have to imagine, the only city you've ever been to.
I can't imagine why I was even in Vegas, but
Did you know that Wrath was going to be there ahead of time? Did your cauldron show you,
why would he
like,
have
eligible
gone?
singles in your area? And you're like, ooh, that's for me.
Maybe I stalked him there. Maybe I took him there. Maybe I drugged him and
That is kind of your entire thing, yes. I
I mean I did drug him, but maybe I also drugged him to get him there.
Seems like a lot of effort to go to.
He was
For
worth it.
Wrath, yeah. That was worth it.
He was very dreamy in his day.
You have very low expectations here.
I live in a swamp. I'm surrounded by swamp frogs.
Have you ever been to Balavi City, George?
I doubt it.
Okay.
It seems awfully far north.
It is pretty far north.
Why is there a giant horse book?
That's horse. That was
That's Facebook.
That was from the last campaign. But it represents the party because you see they're using horses to travel.
He has a hat.
It does have a hat.
Yeah,
Horse was very nice. All of them.
Yours was from this one, wasn't it?
Horse was a lady. And the maid of the underworld. Who made you tea.
it was a very strange place, as you can imagine.
The city is sprawling. It's not as big as the one that's I don't know, 100 miles or so north on the coast, which is a port city that you'll tend to see trade from Viltz and Kiriak. This is a city which does quite a lot of trade with miners and trappers of the area. And now you were only told by Ost in... I can't remember whether he was possessing Bana or the horse at the time. but but he told you just to go to this city and to find his cult there. Excuse me. And to do what they told you so that you can murder the saints. Now, there's a checkpoint going into the city where the Ministry of Imports and Exports is running random checks on different people's carts and caravans and personages.
Don't ever check us. We don't tell them.
Would you...
Are they profiling?
They are doing a little bit of profiling, yes, but you don't know exactly what they're profiling for or against. Do you take any precautions before you bring yourselves up into line?
Well, I think that Solaire would probably use the shift weave to switch into one of his less affluent looking outfits.
Alright.
Really not much hiding with 2 swords, so...
They don't seem to care much about people bringing
Just
weapons
an old
into the
decrepit
city.
old lady, and then there's...
Yeah, I'm just the old decrepit lady. There's
God, please tell me
children in the
Goras
cart.
is
They'll be
asleep.
fine.
Let's see if
Can
Goras
we
is
knock
asleep.
Goras out so he doesn't cause any trouble?
Oh, where's my D100?
That's all we need is for him to tell them that he's the chosen one.
It's in the bag.
Oh, that's a 100. Goras is asleep.
Thank God. Although it might work. If he said he was the chosen one, we can just explain to them that he's completely nuts.
Yeah, he's the... Oh, I thought you were going to say that he's the chosen one.
He's the chosen
Oh
one.
God, no.
A lot of the people who are being let in are like trappers that have big, thick axes and knives on their persons, and the import-export people really don't seem to care that people are entering in armed.
That's good.
Have we gotten any lizards?
You have found 0 lizards.
Has the orphan found any lizards?
The orphan has found 0 lizards.
I'm gonna freaking
Um,
fire him.
And as you approach, you hear a couple people in front of you. Someone is asked for their stuff to be searched, and they say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm with the monster hunters." And he just kind of whips out his badge and shows them, and they just wave him on.
You have a badge?
I do.
Goras
does.
Goras doesn't have a badge because
No, he
Anton
didn't,
was
did he?
holding on to it for him
Oh,
Why?
because Goras can't be trusted with personal belongings.
Well, guess
Unless I'm remembering that
can't
wrong,
be
but
trusted to stay
no,
in this plane
that
of
sounds
existence.
probably...
But-
That sounds like a thing that would have happened.
Would you like to display your badge, or would you like to lay low?
Well, I guess we'll attempt
Oi,
to,
oi.
to lay
Silly
low
kids.
initially.
Okay.
If I have to display it, then we'll display it. I've never been here before, so we'll just feign ignorance for me.
They give you a cursory look over and then wave you on.
Well, there we go.
You get into the city.
Like a boss.
The smell of unwashed mountain men fills your nostrils. It's really not that different to the town, I suppose.
And that was
There's-
different than unwashed chorus, so...
Yeah.
I mean, none of us have bathed recently, so
No. Kitty looks very content.
you can't have any.
Goras immediately, when you enter the city, he immediately sits up where you throw in some skins over him to, kind of hide him from sight. But he immediately sits up and the skins kind of fall off him. He says, do you hear it? The music is getting louder.
God.
Does it ever occur to him that nobody's ever said that they also hear it?
Yeah, that has not occurred to him, no. To just answer the question. He says, we must go follow the music.
Well, how are we supposed to follow the music if he's the only one that can hear it?
He takes
but
off on a
he's-
sprint.
He's
Oh, Christ.
also... Why is he out of the wagon?
The wagon just follows him over as fast as he can.
God.
He simply vaults his way over the wagon and he staggers into a crowd.
Who forgot to belt him into the wagon?
I don't know.
One of the orphans, maybe. Let's see if one of the orphans does. None of the orphans go after him.
Do you want to steer the wagon, and I'll run after him, or do you want to run after him and I'll steer the wagon?
I'm not running after him, so let him go. We can find him.
I'm just gonna let Goraz go.
We can find him.
The next time we'll see him, it'll be some sort of a public execution.
He will claw you. Do not let him claw you.
No, kidding. Oh my goodness, that's such a good thing.
He is a good cat. He will throw himself
So you
against
might
the
just
door
let
if you have
Goraz
Chinese
run off
window.
for the time being.
He has little bumps around
Following
his
the
neck like
music.
he has fleas.
He's an old cat. He's got some skin problems.
You want to run after him? I guess go ahead.
Yeah, I want to at least see where he's going in case following the music actually accomplishes something. I mean,
Okay.
It could happen. I guess I'm going to chase after Goraz as best I can here.
All right. Can you please give me survival?
Oh, goody, one of my finest skills. 18.
How many?
18.
All right. You lose sight of him. You think he might have gone into a dark alley, or into a brothel, or into a tavern. Which do you think Goras would be most likely to go into?
It depends on where the music went.
Yeah,
Do I hear
There's a
music?
lot of music coming from inside the brothel, I'll tell you that.
Well, then he might have
think
gone
he-
that way, you know. In which case he'll be there for a little while, so I'm going to go back and find the wagon and guide them over toward the brothel.
Okay.
Because, music, that's how that works.
You arrive at the brothel with the old lady and the orphans. Goras is not inside, as best as you can tell.
Yeah. Do we want to try and look for Goraz in the brothel?
Spend the next 3 to 4 hours.
Well, I'm gonna stay here and watch the orphans
You're going to stay and watch the
and the
orphans.
horses. I mean, we can't just leave them out here.
The madam claims that she has seen nobody like Goras, and that she would not let him into such a respectable establishment anyway.
Okay.
And you hear
I don't
donkey.
know where he's gone.
She hands you a business card, though.
So, yeah. Yeah, I'll be sure to pass that on to Anthony next time I see him. So,
Mm-hmm.
uh-huh.
Would you like treats?
Mhm.
I would not, but thank you. Actually, what am I saying?
Do we
I would
go
like
find
treats.
some place to stay?
There's 2 kinds of cheese and salami and crackers.
Holy, it's lovely.
Well, so we didn't have an actual plan. So he will have no idea where to find us.
Mm.
If you were Goraz, where do you think Goraz would look for us, or Asha?
I don't think he was looking for us.
Well, no, but if he decided to go looking for us, where do you think he would look?
Is he going to look for us, or is he going to be?
Well, who the hell knows what he's going to do? He's Goraz.
We're gonna find Goras.
No, I'm saying we need to find some place where we can stable the horses and the wagon, get a room, and figure out how to find the Cult of Oz.
Then I suggest we find a room and a place to put the horses, and then find the nearest public disturbance, because there will be one by then.
Fair enough. This is probably true.
Would you like to try to find an inn?
Yes.
Yes.
Are you looking for a seedy one, or a fancy one, or somewhere in between?
We have untold quantities of cash.
Is
Do
there a
it.
fancy one
Oh,
called
God,
the
yes.
CD Inn?
I mean, even
It's just
after I
trying to
gave away
replicate the
money.
aesthetic for bored rich people.
That's amazing.
I don't know how much
That
money
was more
did
the
I give
brothels
away.
thing.
Let's see. Hang on, give me a second to figure out how much money we've got left. Well, I gave some away.
Asha is walking around with a small country's worth of wealth on her board, her person.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm
Why?
going to read aloud from you what you have on your cloak. Okay.
Oh, on my the
Okay.
one I always forget I'm wearing.
Yeah.
The one you've never ever used.
2 bags of 100 gold pieces, a pit, which you can place on the ground, that's 10 feet deep, 2 of those, a wooden ladder 24 feet long, 3 of those, 2 rowboats, A spell scroll
Are these the
containing
things that you roll randomly for?
yeah,
Oh wow.
a spell scroll containing a spell of 1st or 3rd level that we haven't figured out yet. That we'll figure out when you get it. 10 gems worth 100 gold pieces each. 2 of those.
Aren't I supposed to not know what these are until I open one up?
I don't know. I don't think so. That's not what we're
The
doing.
patches look like the
Yes.
thing.
Ah.
A silver coffer worth 500 gold pieces. And an iron door up to 10 feet wide and 10 feet high, barred on one side of your choice, which you can put in an opening you reach. It conforms to fit the opening.
Oh.
So you have all those
I
things.
guess you don't need quite so much money then.
Didn't
But
I tell you?
Do
to
they
take
know
that?
I have all that?
Do they know?
Yeah.
No.
I don't have any money.
Why does your stupid robe have so much like gems on it?
It's her pimp robe.
They're just patches too. They weren't even like the original design. Someone just sewed this crap on
Either
it.
way, we have enough money to stay where you want, wherever it is you want to stay. Since I basically robbed the town blind before we left.
I live in a swamp tent. Like, I'm not going to know the difference between a good inn and a bad inn, so.
You went to Vegas. You have the best frame of reference to
That was
most of the
my
people in
Vegas.
this city. You stayed at a themed hotel when you were in Fantasy Vegas.
Was it swamp themed?
It was not swamp themed, unless you made it swamp themed because you were disappointed. There is a swamp themed inn catering to the really psycho outdoorsmen who want to feel like they're back at camp. People pay a lot of money to have somebody wake them up at the crack of dawn by throwing a bucket of cold water on them.
In Vegas.
No, here.
Oh, in this town.
Someone just jumps out. I have no skin. Your rest is interrupted.
Only on a full moon.
This is so authentic.
Blah, tiny soldier.
They open a little doggy door and
Well, which do you think that Goras would be more likely to look for us at? A expensive inn, or some place in a seedy part of town?
The expensive inn.
The expensive inn. Okay, we're going to go find the expensive inn.
He's going to assume that as the chosen one, he gets the best.
Well, this is a interesting
Accommodations.
possibility.
Alright, so your inn is the Silver Boot.
Why not the golden boot?
There's an E at the end of boot.
Oh, okay.
It's BOOTE.
Fancy.
And they ask how many rooms you would like.
How big are the rooms?
That can be negotiated depending on how big of a room you need. They have many rooms.
I assume, are you going to keep the orphans with you?
Oh, somebody's got to keep them from escaping.
Boil them in a stew.
So for now, we need one large room with multiple beds, and one smaller room
Okay.
with a single bed for right now.
Throw all the orphans
I'm sorry,
in
I
a
wasn't
sack.
listening. What are you guys getting?
What's the small room with the single bed?
For me.
Why do you get yours when I gotta stay with Goras?
No, Goras is not with us at the moment. You have to stay with the orphans.
So he doesn't even get a room.
He's not with us at the moment. I'm not renting him a room if he's not here.
Okay.
He's the chosen one. He can figure this out.
So you got one small room.
Yes, one small room and one room large enough for Asha and
With
the
no
children.
windows?
Okay.
He's gonna come back like, guys, I got us the hotel rooms.
He'll come back with a hotel.
That's 2 silver a night for the smaller room and 5 silver for the large room.
Wow. Adjust the bankroll there.
Are you paying for mine?
Oh yeah, you said you had no money.
I don't have any money.
That includes room, board, and horse.
Yeah.
That's cheap.
Yeah. The economy's not very good.
The hotel in this
So
town is like
currency is
$200 a night, and it's in Claremont.
Yeah, Claremont prices are ridiculously high. I was looking at
There is nothing in Claremont I would spend much more than $35 on.
it is unfortunate.
They have a hot tub, I guess.
It's not bad. I don't know that I'd want to use a Claremont hot tub. That seems like you're asking for every fungal infection known to mankind, but it's a nice touch. They have a hot tub here, as it happens. They will pour your choice of hot spring water or hot mud into a bathtub for you, no charge. So you have your rooms. Do you get the orphans settled?
Yeah.
Okay. Now,
Like a souffle.
yes.
What?
Is a souffle supposed to settle? I think that's the opposite of what a souffle is supposed to do. Oh, I had a name. What was the name? Yeah. That was not the name.
Wow.
Could be.
What?
It's locked.
So, it's locked. Lovely. So, 9 dicks.
It's 9 D's.
9 dicks. You were just kind of chilling in your quarters. What kind of a quarters did they give you in the quote-unquote temple? Which was a temple in the old days. It is officially a museum right now. It's not, though. It's a cult temple.
It's like a regular room that they tried to make really fancy with things they think are fancy.
I mean, they have lots of very cultured people, or people who think they're very cultured. People who are very rich. We'll go with that. Like, what kind of things did they try to make it fancy with?
Just imagine regular things replaced with the gaudy rich people version. Like,
Lots of velvet everywhere.
yeah, and like, instead of just a candle holder, it's like a whole dining room candelabra, and none of it matches.
Perfect. And honestly, they tell themselves he's a dragonborn. He doesn't know any better.
I don't know any better.
You were
I
raised
don't
by
know
a
any
rich
better.
guy. You know better.
I don't care, no.
You're far too depressed to care. Now, Abbess Lizavieta gave you an order. This has been a very strange week or so for the cult. Because, you know, they have been all about the reascendancy of the ancient god Ost. It's not really that ancient. It's been like a couple hundred years maybe, but whatever. They've been, you know, all about his reascension and his reawakening. They've never been sure exactly how he's supposed to reawaken or reascend, but they're pretty sure he's going to. Definitely before all the other gods managed to. And then he just kind of suddenly possessed one of the mouthpieces that they've set aside for this exact purpose for hundreds of years. And that mouthpiece said, hey, so I got some people. No, I appreciate, you know, all the work that you've been doing all this time, you know, preparing for my return and stuff. But I've got some other people who are actually going to take care of that for me. So, thank you. I need you to just kind of bankroll them and give them some very specific sets of directions and things. So, yeah, cool. Just toss out that all the little kind of library of terrible philosophy you've been writing up for, you know, a couple decades and jot this down. And then the guy's head exploded. As is tradition. That's how they knew it was authentic.
Did the head at least remove itself and fly to another room?
You were not there, but yes, it did. It flew into the designated explosion chamber.
So that's what we should have had.
At least they had their prophecy correct.
Yeah, honestly,
Yes, but
among all of the cults, they had the most accurate prophecy of anybody's.
And you have a head explosion room, you idiots. Well, now that guy...
They didn't know it was going to be the head. They knew something was going to explode. They thought it was going to be more metaphorical, but it was literal. And so when these people open the door to their room, they find 9 Deeks standing there.
Our room?
Yes, the big room with no windows. 9 Deeks. You were told to just stand in this room and wait, and you've been waiting here for about 3.5 hours.
Have fun with that.
I'm
You
snacking.
Can you please describe 9 Deeks?
I am a burly green dragonborn covered in armor.
This is gonna be you because he's green. He's got a tail.
You don't have a dude?
What?
You don't have a...
Where would I get one?
Gerbil play. They've got dragonborn.
Did you
They
say
might even have.
gerbil play?
Yes, gerbil play. You didn't get
We
one.
don't talk about gerbil play in this case.
You just did. It's your house.
That's why I said we don't talk about it. I can talk about it. I'm pretty sure they have a
They
dragonborn.
charge you now over there for gerbil play.
What did you used to use for him? That? You didn't have your own?
No, literally that exact guy.
Oh. under his loincloth? Does he have 9?
And so it begins.
It's a small loincloth.
So it continues.
I'm disappointed.
This is just a continuance from the last universe he was in. I don't even remember which game that was. Which was the last game with the head 9 in it? Was that the Desert King?
Yes.
Oh boy. I said no to Passy.
Why?
Because I thought it was fair, because I also said no to Duncan.
You should have brought back Tink.
One day. Too wild.
Tink would be a little bit wild for here.
Can we have 9 but with Tink's voice?
No.
So, 9 is standing in the middle of the room. You people do not know each other. What happens?
I'm not with you. I went to my own room. You're on your
You
own.
just
Likely
left me on my own.
Awkward, expectant stare.
With 3 orphans, yes. I just ditched you because peace and quiet.
Asha, you are aware that fancy hotels, as they had in... What was it? Silverheart's Bay? Is that the actual name of the place?
Vegas?
Yeah. Silverheart's Bay, yes. You sometimes have butlers that attend to you in a room. Clearly that's what this is.
A well-armored butler.
Yes.
Well, guess he's here to look after the orphans. So I shoo them in and close the door and leave. Have fun.
The orphans look nervously at you and Ein. There are 3 of them. One of them's a 9-year-old boy, and then I believe the others are like a 10-year-old girl and a 12-year-old boy. The older 2 have death stares that, you know, you can really empathize with them. They've clearly been through some stuff.
They've seen a lot of things.
I'm gonna use divine sense.
They are...
See if they're celestial, fiend, or undead.
They have celestial... The 2 oldest ones have celestial auras around them. They are not celestials themselves, though. As best as you can tell.
I opt not to stab them.
Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that.
If you stabbed them, I wouldn't pay you.
I think the hotel pays the servants.
I like to tip them, though.
No?
The youngest one says, I've caught lizards before.
But not this trip, damn it.
Right.
I hope they weren't your cousins or something.
Oh, God.
Are you calling me a lizard?
He looks at your tail. He looks at
Yeah.
your snout. He looks at how you lick your eyes.
Do not lick my eye.
That's unfortunate. What? Are you an amphibian?
Of course,
No.
I think you finally caught a lizard.
He seems very confused.
Yes, Gorash will be very proud.
Caught the biggest damn lizard I ever saw.
Go away.
He's gonna try stuffing you in a bag.
This is our room, though. We're not supposed to leave the room, I don't think. Will you please
Like
make me...
20 clicks as long as good.
Will you...
From the outside?
Yes. I specifically got a room with no window. And ordered a lot of extra locks. These orphans are wily. We already lost them once.
Whose fault was that?
Will you get me some
Ours.
soup? I don't like the soup that Goras makes, but Miss Zashit was saying that they have soup made out of cheese here. I've never had soup made out of cheese, and I want some soup made out of cheese. And you said it's free because you paid for all the whole room. Will you please get me some soup made out of cheese?
No.
Oh, she was wrong.
He is a shitty babysitter now.
Maybe he just knows the soup made out of cheese is bad.
Well, you left the orphans with the lizard man. What do you do now?
That's very racist to say about a dragon.
I don't think it is.
It is, because lizard folk are a thing. And they are backwards or yokels.
We
They
haven't
eat each
established.
other.
We have not established that in this universe.
Racism.
In Jordan's
Why are you
version of
looking at
5e,
me? What are you
Say I
doing?
didn't
Dragonborn.
find you. I left the orphans with their name.
Dragonborn just lizard folk. I think Dragonborn.
Is there some place to sit and drink in institution.
There is a tea room, which is adjacent to the drink room. They use the same cups for both. They're not very large cups.
I'm thinking that Goras would probably go to the drink room. So I will be sitting down in the drink room waiting for Goras to hopefully show up at some point.
All right.
Get some food to bring up to the orphans. Nice.
They didn't you leave with somebody to do that?
I locked them all in.
They probably have a dumbwaiter or something.
Do they?
You don't know. You may assume that they don't have a way of getting food for themselves.
I'll bring them food.
Okay, what do you bring them for food?
Cheese soup.
You bring them cheese soup. The orphans are
Are
happy.
you sure it's not soup cheese?
Is it soup cheese or cheese soup?
It's essentially beer and cheese with some bread.
Okay.
That
bring
seems
the,
suitable for
I
small
bring the children alcohol soup.
There you go. There's not much alcohol left by the time it's finished cooking. It's nowhere near as tasty as they thought it would be, though.
I don't bring enough for the nanny though.
Ninety. You are not provided soup by the inhabitant of the room, Nine.
I'm indifferent. I'm still just waiting. This can't be what I'm here for.
All right then.
This too will pass.
Some hours pass. The orphans seem to be talking in a language that they made up among themselves. They're clearly talking about you, Nine. They're gambling about something. They have an intricate version of rock, paper, scissors. You drink. They don't have very good vodka, but they have good brandy. What do you do? Oh shit.
Goras isn't shown up.
Goras has not shown up yet.
I don't know if Goras will ever show up. We just kind of took a gamble on the fact that he might stumble into this one place in this entire city.
How many places to stay are in the city?
Probably a lot of it's a city.
There are quite a few.
Well, we can't go check all of them.
You had several choices just of ones that were like this fancy.
We can send the nanny to check them. I mean-
the nanny may have already killed him.
The nanny's left in the room with the orphans. But I mean, if he's gonna be our servant, may as well put him to use.
You hear a stumbling
Yeah.
and pardon me, coming from the front hall.
Okay.
And you see Goras covered in stab wounds
Oh, Jesus
walking
Christ.
into the drinking room. He looks kind of dazed.
Let's
"Oh,
get him out of here before he causes any more public disturbance.
I knew I'd find you here. The music told me so.
Good. I have you a room upstairs. Let's go see your room.
Are you gonna get him his own room, or are you gonna sleep with him?
He can sleep in the bed. I will sleep on the floor. I'm not that worried about where I'm sleeping. I've slept in worse places.
One of the actual butlers comes up to you, Salir, and he says, "This gentleman says he's with you. He's bleeding on the carpet. Is he one of yours?"
Yes. You just add that to my bill.
Willing. No worries, sir. We'll arrange for a medic.
Oh, we don't need a medic. We've got this.
Oh.
This happens to
I
him
see.
sometimes.
And Goras is telling you about the many adventures he had, about how he met old friends and then killed them, because it turns out they weren't actually his friends. He just thought they were.
It was
Sounds
just
like him.
strangers.
And there were, I guess, rats with needles for hair, and he tried to pet them. They didn't like that very much. I don't know what you think you're doing.
We check out the dice box.
You're too fat to climb up there. What are you doing?
And
when
then,
your cat enters the battle screen.
this is also
A
tradition.
giant cat appears.
And you are able eventually to get him to the room where he passes out on the bed.
Goras is back.
Yes.
you make any attempt to
What is the
fix
end game
him,
kit?
I can't fix him.
Sorry,
What
Christ.
am I gonna do with him?
I'll fix him.
I'm just gonna shove him in bed so that he'll,
Alright, you fix Goras. Ow.
Go, fat kitty.
What if he got the cheese from the other side?
Poor fat kitty.
Yeah.
I'm just going to put Goras to bed.
Goras sinks blissfully into unconsciousness. 9. Nobody else comes.
Did they specifically put me in this room and
Yes.
then leave?
They didn't even put you in the room. They gave you the number of the room, and you just kind of went to the room butler, and you're like, hey, and then you gave him the password that I'm too lazy to think of, and he said, this way, sir." He was very racist about it, but he didn't say anything about it. He didn't think much of your kind, though, seeing as how you're a lizard man and all that.
It's the eyeball licking.
It really is the eyeball licking. He assumed it was happening whenever his head was turned. The fact that he couldn't catch you doing it made him even more racist about it. Now there's the stereotype in his mind that not only do they lick their eyes, they always do it when you're not looking. To mock you.
Oh.
Have you informed Solaire yet that there's somebody in your room?
Yeah, I told you there's a nanny to watch the children.
Ah,
It's a very nice hotel.
I'm literally
That's
just
good.
lounging, waiting. I'm trying my damnedest to ignore the children.
Finally, one of the oldest orphan, he says, "Are you going to let us out?"
I mean, where are your parents?
Dead.
Who brought you here?
The others, Mr. Solaire and Mr. Goras and Mrs. Alship.
Sounds like parents to me.
They're not. We used to have parents, then they died.
You
They were eaten by the Fairlands. You know about the Fairlands? Of course you know about the Fairlands. They're giant fire spider people things. They don't eat people, they eat livestock.
You can get new parents.
Maybe that's how it works when you're a lizard. Not when you're a person.
I slap him.
You hit the child. Can you please deal me unarmed damage?
here comes the
Remember, you
combat
have
where
to
9
add
dies.
+5 damage because you have an aura of
At
death.
least say non-lethal as you smack him. Good job.
Cat, what I roll?
Cat, don't eat the dice.
Kitty's on it.
3.
Please roll on the table.
4.
You knock
Plus
the child
1
out.
plus 5.
Yeah, you knock the child out. The child begins bleeding out of the mouth and ears.
He's fine.
The other children begin screaming.
Do I hear this?
Where are you? Are you downstairs?
No, I'm in his room.
Okay, well
We
your
took
room is
Goras
in the
up there.
basement because that was the only room that they had that was large and no windows. Because most people specifically want windows.
Well, most
He's
people don't have
upstairs.
orphans to contain.
So can you give me a perception at disadvantage, please?
Christ.
Most people don't want people to hear what's happening in their room either.
Don't worry, we'll wait.
Did you say a disadvantage?
Yeah. Yes, please.
And wait, I got 2 16s.
You hear a faint screaming.
Do I recognize it as mine?
Your first thought is that it's Goras. And then you realize, oh no, that's children.
This is from a completely different place, not right next to me.
And then you think, oh yeah, it's probably the children.
Go see what's going on. It's gonna take me a lot longer to get down the stairs. I'm very old.
Okay. I will go down to
I'll follow
the
him.
dungeon
The dungeon.
to go check on
Are
the
you
children.
going to try to revive the child? Or are you going to make the child roll death saving throws against your slap?
I mean, there's gonna be at least one turn where I'm just surprised that it's dead.
Okay. 1 pass.
You're here 3 seconds, you're killing my orphan.
You thought this would be different
Alright.
somehow.
You just watch the orphan and it doesn't die immediately. You just stood there for 6 whole seconds and watched it.
He makes a second death save.
That's because he's
Jesus Christ, are
surprised.
you there yet?
That's a 2.
He-
One
he-
failure.
He's just surprised that he's gotten
Has
so
he
weak.
gotten there yet? Have I gotten
It's
there
a
yet?
long ways to go
I will
from
roll
upstairs
medicine
in
on
the
the child.
nice place.
You don't lay on hands or anything. You don't
No.
have those as an oath breaker, do you?
I do. I got like a 17.
You stabilize the child. You sit him up so he stops bleeding out of the face.
This is what happens when you talk shit, children.
You get to the door, Solir. It's locked.
Oh yeah. I get there
like
eventually.
a
and I'm
lock at a doorknob locked, or
It's been locked by the fancy skeleton keys that they give you when you get a room. Then Asha gets there. Asha, you have the key.
Keys. There's a.
There was one lock.
just
there was
just to
there
look
was
at
only
you
one
like
lock.
Bummer.
There was one lock that just kept doing it.
You unlock the door, and the nanny is sitting up a bleeding child. The others are still screaming. They surprisingly run to you, Asha, and grab onto your witch skirts.
I have no idea what to do with that.
The one who was slapped is now just looking into the astral plane.
Which one was that?
That was the
the lizard
orphan-
catcher.
it wasn't the lizard catcher.
I
It
was
was
hoping
the
it would be the lizard catcher. He's still got a fresh.
it was the boy who you first rescued from the cave where he was tied
Ah.
up,
Mm-hmm.
and then he tried to run away with his sister, and he was kidnapped and eaten by
Is
a
it
god.
apparent that the nanny's not trying to harm the child?
That's a really good question. What does it look like?
How did you manage that?
You did it.
I didn't do
He
it.
does seem to be checking the child's pulse
Okay.
for all that matters.
So what did you do?
What did you do?
What did you do? You had one job. That was to not kill the children.
They're not dead.
He slapped him right in the face, and then he died.
Well, he's not dead now. Don't overreact. Christ. I'm getting a new nanny. I don't know. This is unacceptable. I expect better.
You're firing the nanny.
I'm firing the nanny. You're fired.
A rat crawls from out under the bed. It looks at you guys. Says, "Those are the people, dumbass." And then its head explodes.
He could have been more specific.
The rat does not respond.
Poor rat.
Like the orphans, or
The rat does not respond. No creature responds.
no one ever
Why
told
is
me
it-
what step 2 was anyway.
Why is it every place we go, you have strange things happen around
But
here?
they did tell you. They said you were supposed to bring them back to the tunnel.
This guy the cold.
They give you a little sack of.
In your orphanage, things heads explode.
They give you a little script that they said, open the envelope and read it when you meet them, and they give you a little sack.
I will read it to myself.
It says, if any of them have Monster Hunter badges or any kind of official badge at all, they need to leave them behind. So we're pretty sure they're all bugged. Make them all wear these amulets and then come in the back way. Love, Abbess Lizovieta, XXOO. She says that to everybody. Don't worry about it too much.
I don't like being told to come in the back way when I'm staying at a hotel. With children. And whatever the hell that is.
What race are you again? Are you a dwarf? Yeah. Oh, so you even had less movement earlier. Lovely. You're just like the essence of mushroom. It's beautiful.
Don't I have a badge?
If you had a badge, they made you get rid of it a long time ago. But yes, you did have one.
my benefits. I had a whole healthcare package with that.
Actually, never mind. You were allowed to keep your badge, because they determined that
My 401 Kiriak.
your 401 carrot. They determined that whatever scrying magic they believed was tied to the badges didn't affect anything that you were wearing. So you still have your healthcare package, yes.
Delightful.
Which is good because the cult doesn't give healthcare.
I wouldn't have joined the cult.
I mean, you did join the cult.
Well, I'm gonna have to retroactive that because I want dental.
But you have dental because you're a monster hunter.
Nice. All right.
People lose a lot of teeth hunting monsters. You may or may not be surprised. And don't you have dental just by being a lizard anyway? You just grow them back or something like that? I don't know.
I'm not a lizard, you racist. What the?
Does your tail grow back? Because-
No.
Does anything else?
No.
Can we try?
No.
We get 9 tries.
No, you don't.
You only had the one to begin with. It just keeps growing back.
I keep the other ones in a jar.
This just happened 9 times.
There's a Chinese fantasy game where that's a game mechanic. You just keep chopping it off and selling it on the black market and regrowing it using magic.
Ooh, we could do that.
I know. I've seen the video of it.
Beautiful. It's the same one where you can turn a piece
Money
of poop
making.
into a human and then ascend him into a god.
I like how that didn't surprise anyone on that side.
No, I'm thinking about how we could just keep cutting it off and selling it for like medicinal purposes.
Yeah. There's a black market for it. Unfortunately, in this city in particular, especially.
But once I find out, I'm going to be proposing that. I don't know yet. Though. For now, he's just the nanny.
You just have all these like really short-sighted, not even get-rich quick schemes. Like they would be like a legitimate, incredibly low-money business that is somehow horribly immoral, and
When you
no
live
one
in
would
the
agree
swamp.
to it.
When you live in the swamp, a little bit of money goes a long way. You don't need a get rich quick scheme. You just need to like, hey man, can you spare $5 quick scheme?
So where the fuck did they get a robe that has $40,000 in it?
That's a very good question that we're not going to address today. You got this. You got this note. What do you do with this note?
Throw away your badges and come with me.
I'm a badge.
Who the hell are you?
That's the nanny.
Why the hell is the nanny giving orders?
I fired him. He's not even the nanny anymore.
He's the nani.
Do you not recognize the authority of the rat?
The rat is currently dead. Its head is exploded.
That's at least the third thing whose head has exploded in your presence. Asha.
Was that also a god?
All this did kind of start to happen when Asha joined the party. It's pretty suspicious.
I mean, it didn't introduce itself. Was that a god?
Sure.
If only the chosen one was here.
Hmm.
The chosen one would know.
We should ask him what to do.
We should at least go get the chosen one.
Okay, go wake him up.
Okay, I will go get the chosen one and bring him back.
You wake up Goras and you pull him down the stairs.
I will explain to him that a rat.
He's lost a lot of blood, so speak slowly.
Oh, so it's like the horse.
Yes, and then its head exploded.
I see.
Like the horse.
What does that mean?
I don't know. That's why you're here.
I
Is the
see.
music doing anything around this lizard
Well,
person?
I am the chosen one, so it was a good thing that you got me.
Well, yes, there's a nanny who's been fired, who's demanding that we get rid of our badges.
Oh, well, I already got rid of my badge, so
Well,
I guess that makes
yes,
sense.
but I mean, do we take orders from a nanny?
I mean,
don't
he
know.
did have a rat explode in his presence.
It was in your presence.
It was in all of our presence.
So Goras gets into the room
This never happened with Wrath.
and he says, "Oh, you must be the nanny." He sticks out his hand. I am Goras Petro. I am the chosen one. Can you hear the music?
No.
Oh, okay. I guess guess he's not the chosen one.
He doesn't have ears.
Oh, you're right. It's because he's a lizard, I see.
I'm gonna slap him.
Can you please make me an attack roll?
19
That'll hit.
plus 3. Wait, no. 17.
You slap him. He says, oh. Wow. He's almost as good as Wrath.
I mean, that was 15 damage.
Holy Christ.
Yeah, you're better than Wrath, I think.
Well, yeah, but the last time he was hit by Wrath, he was a small child, so it was more impressive.
That's fair. He says,
No.
if you're auditioning to join the group, I suppose it's only fair that we give you a fair fight. And he casts.
Christ.
I don't have Goras' sheet with me.
How do you not have Goras' sheet?
Because he's using, I mean, I have his old sheet. Because he's using an app, I believe. Or he's using a paper sheet that I just don't have.
Why is he
His head looks like toothpaste.
a deviant artist's rendition of older Dib from Invader Zim?
I don't know.
I didn't understand most of that sentence.
I have no idea what he just said.
He
I
casts-
heard something about Darth Vader. And
He
that was
casts
all I
haste
heard.
on Solir and says, go get him!
The hell did you find this nanny?
It came with the room. You bought the room. Did it not come with a nanny? Is it
I didn't
spelled?
come with my room. Didn't come with anything.
Well, mine is for orphans, so I guess orphan rooms come with nannies. I don't know about this one now.
He's looking at you very expectantly, Solir.
I've got a hand on both rapiers. I'm just kind of puzzled as to how the hell this has gotten to here already. I mean, it really wouldn't do to kill the nanny.
The nanny
Fire
did
him.
attack the orphans first.
Well, yeah, but
Hmm.
Solir's been an orphan. He's provoked Wrath into smacking him any number of times. The fact that an orphan got smacked is probably not going to concern Solir too much.
The orphan does seem to still be breathing, which is a good sign.
No, don't kill the nanny. We should probably figure out what the rat wanted.
I'm going to go over to Goraz and try to get Goraz to calm down a little bit. And, explain to him that the nanny doesn't understand what the chosen one is.
Oh, so you're saying we don't need to test him before he joins us?
No.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
No, we probably should not get in a fight here.
I can attest that he can slap really good.
Because
Welcome
the orphan-
aboard.
My base slap damage is 9.
Just like your name. Lovely.
Throw away your
And
badges.
then I'm going to walk over and explain to him that he's not quite right in the head. He genuinely thinks he's hearing music all the time.
Your base slap weapon is dicks.
I already threw away my badge.
Throw away theirs.
Because I'm the chosen one. I know instinctively how to do these things before
Why
they're
does
asked of me.
Goraz have laryngitis?
I don't
That's
know.
how he talks. I've heard it. He talks like this all the time.
So you see, this is insurmountable evidence that I am the chosen one because I did it before you even asked me to.
Why am I throwing away my badge? Well, first of all, you still haven't answered the who the hell are you question.
It's the nanny.
You're the nanny. Why am I taking orders from the nanny that we've already fired?
I'm not a nanny, you idiot.
No more. You're certainly
Did,
not.
was that not the nanny?
That was the nanny. Came
That's
with
the
the room.
nanny. Came with the room.
It's there to watch
Did you
the
not
orphan.
come with the room?
And he did a shitty job of it.
Hey,
Hey, hey. No.
Going for the plastic, not the food.
Yeah, he always does that.
Retarded.
I'm
Did
chewing
you not
plastic,
come
you
with the
can
room?
No.
Then why were you in the
Here.
room?
To tell you to get rid of your badge and come with me.
How are we supposed to come with you if you're staying here watching the orphans?
Maybe next time you shouldn't lock the door from the outside.
This guy's stupid.
But he isn't watching the orphans anymore because we fired him. This
Well,
was
who's gonna
clearly
watch the orphans?
a fortuitous series of events. You firing him allowed him to now be a person we go with because he's no longer the nanny watching the orphans.
It's getting worse.
My throat is getting worse.
Should we listen to him? His head hasn't exploded yet.
That's a very good point. When his head explodes, we'll know he's telling the truth.
Okay.
It might not, though. I don't know why. I feel like there's a pattern that he doesn't fit into.
There's a pattern? I mean,
Yes.
they've all been animals.
Yes,
No,
there is
the
a-
first one wasn't an animal.
There's a pattern. I
The
can
first
see
one was
it.
just missing part of the skull and had eyeballs.
I can see it just
Skull
beyond the
shape.
music, but not quite.
Horse, rat, lizard.
I slap her.
That's a woman.
I don't care.
You slept like a 95-year-old woman.
Yeah, he called me the L word.
What L word? Everybody has called you.
Yeah.
You slapped everybody.
Everyone who said it is either unconscious or stupid.
The child is still unconscious in this table.
They're that special kind of unconscious where their eyes are open.
Oh,
so
yeah.
They're just kind of like,
That's kind of his constant state. He did try to slap you.
I slapped the old woman with an 18 for 9 damage.
Isn't he good at slapping?
Is he as good as Wrath?
Don't kick shit.
I'm going to walk back over to the nanny and tell the nanny they need to stop slapping things.
I only slap racist pricks.
So I guess I'm going to go back to my room.
You go back to your room.
Well, I'm not rehiring you now.
Where I'm going to put the badge, I guess, temporarily with whatever things I don't particularly need at the moment. And
Okay.
then go back to the room over there.
Alright.
I'm not throwing it away. I'll take orders from the nanny.
Where are you supposed to be taking us?
I said I was going with him anywhere.
I didn't say I was going with him. I said, where's he supposed to be taking us?
At the temple.
How do you know he's supposed to be taking us someplace?
He did say,
Didn't
"Come
he
with
say
me."
that?
What the hell sort of nanny did you hire?
I didn't. He came with the damn room. You're
Not
shitty
according to
hotel.
him.
Well, he's stupid. You don't. You don't pay someone like that to think.
Okay, well now you're going to have to go hire a nanny because I'm not carting the orphans all over the city.
I'm gonna go ask the hotel for a new nanny because the nanny they gave me sucks.
They say they'll provide a nanny free of charge. You know, so long as you keep paying for your room. So not
Okay,
free
but
of
I don't
charge
want
at
a
all.
lizard this time. I want a normal one.
I'm afraid we can't guarantee the ethnicity of our staff.
Do they have lizard nannies on staff?
I'm afraid that's privileged information.
How?
I appreciate the front desk staff just being like, this racist ass customer.
For all you know, they have like all lizard people, and they just don't want to tell the patrons because they know that people won't like it.
So what was it, 7 silver pieces a day?
Yes.
7 silver for both rooms
You
together.
want to pay them like for a month in advance?
Give them the money.
Says the woman with like an entire bank on her person.
Give them
Yeah, we'll just pay the rooms for a month in advance there,
Okay.
including the nanny.
Are you getting one for Goras or are you still bunking with him?
Well, apparently we're going someplace.
They'll give you a 10% discount if you buy a whole month in advance.
Now you have to do
Goras,
math.
but are you getting
I
2
don't
rooms
do
for
that.
free?
It's
What's that?
3 silver.
It's 7 silver.
Not if you add a month.
I mean,
With the discount.
It's
Are
still
you
more
gonna
than-
check his
It's
math?
still more than 3 silver. I will absolutely check his math. I can do basic mathematics.
I don't believe it.
That's fair.
I don't know how long a month is in his world, so it doesn't really.
30
Bring up
days.
the calendar.
Ah,
Okay.
yeah.
What? Am
I thought you
checking
were
it
going to
now?
tell me something. No.
I brought up the calendar.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
just going to
7
give
silver
them. I'm just going to give them 20 gold.
times
and
30.
That will cover that
Times
plus a
Okay.
little bit
9.
more.
It's 189.
Yeah, so you give them 20 gold, which covers it by a little bit. In case something happens, children need something.
Like the one that has a concussion.
I don't care about the children. But they're-
31 days.
That's Ashit's problem. Those are Ashit's orphans, not mine.
I want to leave very strict orders
Well,
that the
technically,
children
one
will
of them
not
I think belongs to
be
Goraz.
let out.
What's
What?
that?
I want to leave very strict orders that the children not be let out. They are flight risk.
They say they thank you for your request.
Is there any way I can put them back in the locket?
In the you do not know of what spell you would do to transfuse orphans into gemstones. No,
I make a note to myself to try to find that out.
you're 100% certain you could figure out the spell to do that if you just had enough time and resources.
I need to work on that. That seems really convenient.
It would be really convenient. Morally abhorrent, yes, but convenient also.
So I guess we will go with the nanny.
Nanny, where do you take them?
The place I'm supposed to.
All right, you take them through the back alleys where no one can see you. And you eventually lead them to a sewer entrance which connects to the secret back door of the temple. Will you go with him into the sewer?
We don't have to go to the secret back entrance. Do they not have a front door?
He was told to take you in the secret back entrance. I don't know what to tell you.
I'm not staying in the sewers.
You don't stay in the sewer. You go for like 100 yards in the sewer. Do you tell them this?
I don't tell them shit. I just open the manhole.
No, they can
and
see the
point.
shit.
I don't want to go down there.
It's your nanny.
Nanny, isn't there a better way?
Are you taking us into the toilet tunnel?
to the tunnel.
That's where the temple is.
That seems like a lie.
It's not a lie. It's a lack of information.
It's a
I was
shitty
stabbed
temple.
by some people down a tunnel like this. Just like an hour ago. Are you just gonna stab me again if I go down there?
I'll stab you now if you don't go down there.
But you're already part of our group. Why do you need to? I don't understand. How about you go down first, and then I'll follow you? Because I am the chosen one. It would be bad if I went first and then fell into a trap. And also, you probably know it better than I do.
The sock is not going to pick you up at all.
No, I don't think the socks will pick you up hardly anything we've been saying.
I'll go first, but only because this one's too stupid to lie to me.
Thank you. He goes. The nanny does. Goras follows.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll follow Goraz.
Yeah.
Why is the swamp witch worried about going in a sewer?
Because she has standards.
They're
The
very
swamp
low.
is not the same as a sewer.
The swamp is the sewer of nature.
Which is worse?
Well, the sewer of man is considerably worse than the sewer of nature when you're a druid.
That's true.
Maybe a shit mancer.
He is a mushroom answer that's only a couple steps removed.
There's mushrooms down
They
there.
don't call them toadstools for nothing.
I don't think there's mushrooms down there.
There are some mushrooms down
Is
there.
there a feces-based
I'm sure there's probably lots of fungus down there.
I promise you somebody unfortunate has made a feces bestiary. If that's what you said. If not, then
A
I'm sorry.
feces-based druid.
Oh, there we go.
There's a lot of druids.
There's definitely a feces druid, I promise you.
Wow.
They
Circle of the poo.
they lead they lead you to a carved door in the side of the sewer, and you give the secret handshake. Secret handshake
To the door.
Wow.
The secret knock. And
That was a different campaign.
And the little
doors
eye-
were hands.
It's shaving a haircut backwards.
yes,
They
Well-
thought they were clever.
the little eye slit opens,
God.
and they say, "Who's there?"
I don't even answer. I just stare angrily.
"Oh, it's you, Nine." They open the door and let you in.
Your nanny's name is Nine.
Oh, I never asked him.
The blessings of Ost upon you. Blessings of Ost upon you.
Yeah, whatever.
Says a person draped in a pure black robe with a tiny little gemstone tiara on his head.
I'm going to look at Nine and ask if his head's about to explode now.
That's his problem.
Oh no, I am not a speaker for the god. No. I am nowhere near that blessed. I am only the doorman. I guard the back door so that none may enter.
Well, we did meet a very blessed basement rat.
Oh dear. You must tell one of the sacred scribes all about it so they can put it down in the sacred annals.
I walk directly to whoever pays me.
All right, you walk directly to Abbess Lizavieta's door, and she says, "Who is it?" There's no door to knock on. It's just a doorway. Actually, she's just sitting in her little cell.
Yeah, I'm just staring again.
Oh, it's you, Nine. You have returned from your sacred mission. Please come in.
I do.
She is also dressed in ornate black robes that are only ornate in that they're very finely woven, but you know they're all black. There's no pigment on them at all. She has woven a whole bunch of little rubies and bits of silver into her hair, and she looks very dignified underneath her tremendously long and thin nose. She says, "So you are the ones who have been chosen by the holy gods."
At least one of them.
That's the chosen one over there.
She goes to Goras and kneels down and kisses his feet. She doesn't seem to mind that they're covered in muck.
Finally, somebody that recognizes the chosen one.
Somebody had to eventually.
And that's where we're going to end for tonight. Thank you for your tolerance of all of that. We're gonna say it's about 11 in the morning.
That's really early for Nine to be done with this shit.
That's fair.
So did you have to fill out an application to become a nanny at the hotel?